Hola everyone, Christian here. Today we're talking about clothing photography, what equipment to use, the composition, the style, and the post-production process. Let's get started. High quality clothing photography is essential for e-com clothing stores. For many customers, you need more than just great product descriptions. Your images should determine whether or not they buy your product. Photography is not something you should overlook. So if it's so important, where do you need to focus? First up, it's the equipment. Let me clarify something. You do not need the most expensive gadgets, the most expensive equipment to get great product photos. You can actually get real good photography with some of these new smartphone cameras. But here are some of the essentials that we think it's gonna elevate your product photography to the next level. So when it comes to camera, again, you don't need that DSLR camera. Yes, it will help you a lot if you have a DSLR camera, but some of your new iPhones and smartphones, you can actually take really great product photography with those. It's also going to matter some of the next few things that we talk about on whether or not those photos will come out great or not. Another thing that you should consider getting is a tripod. This will eliminate any shakiness and provide consistency with your product photos. So if you know that your model needs to stand here and you have a tripod set and you're taking just photos and having them walk into that spot, whenever you upload these photos to your website, you're gonna see a consistency, right, with all this photography. So it just looks nicer and it just provides a better shopping experience for your customers. Now, another thing to consider is the lighting source. You see a few lights around us right here, even in this recording. Our recommendation would be to try to keep it natural. So you don't necessarily have to buy lighting source right away. If you have a nice window with sunlight coming in, then that's going to be a good place for you to start. Now, if this is not an option, then a lighting kit with some soft boxes will definitely be beneficial. I would definitely go for a 2 or 3 point light setup. All that means is the amount of lights that you have. So if you have a 3 point light setup, you have your key light, you have your backdrop light, and then you have your fill light. All these will just help you get a more three-dimensional look right to the picture, because you can actually see different places of that model being filled up with different lights and different sources and different angles. So you can actually achieve some pretty cool and awesome photography with that 3 point light setup. All right, so the next thing is a backdrop. Get a white background for your shoot. If you're going to shoot a lot of products at once, consider buying one of those paper white sweeps. These are just huge rolls of white paper. And the purpose of this is to have a clean, consistent product photos. I do want to say, if you want actual product recommendations, you can go and check the kit.co link in the description. That actually has a bunch of the stuff that we use for our equipment and that we recommend our clients and customers. So check that out. Hey, before we move on, I just want to say bienvenidos. My name is Christian Piñon, one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding. We're an e-commerce growth agency that specializes in helping clothing stores grow and scale profitably online. We drop new videos every week, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. All right, so let's talk about composition and style. We highly recommend that you use real models and not mannequins. Models are desirable because a live body helps a customer relate to your product a little bit better. Adds a higher degree of professionalism to your photos. So models make clothing come to life. At a minimum, you need to take a front, back, side, or angle and a detail shot of these products. So like I said, at the very minimum, those 4 shots will help you sell more products on your website. You probably also want to consider adding what we call slice of life type photography. So you'll have your generic white background photos with those 4 right generic. And then on top of that, you can take a few more with interesting backgrounds, maybe a clean alleyway, maybe your storefront, maybe walking downtown, maybe just doing something, reading a book while wearing the garment. These will help your customers visualize themselves wearing those clothes in just those everyday situations. But I will say this, that those slice of life, more interesting, better looking photos should not replace the white background images that go on your website. Those white background images are what really the customer needs to see how that product actually looks, get a consistent range of colors, see how it actually fits and flows on that model's body. So those things are very important to have. This slice of life, or that type of photography, is sort of extra that you probably want to do for your product photos. But then on top of that, you could also use some of those for your hero banners, potentially some of your ads, and even your social media. Hey, if you like what you see, please consider clicking on that like button. It looks like this, much smaller, maybe white. Now, after shooting, it's time to prepare your product images for your website. The goal of post-production processing is to make your images look as professional as possible while maintaining optimal performance for the web. So a couple of things to consider is the cropping. So you want to decide how you want your images to look online, whether it's horizontal, vertical, or you want a perfect square. You should crop product images identically so that your customers have a seamless online shopping experience. Second thing to consider is color. You want to make sure that your colors look as real as possible. Inaccurate representations of colors can leave customers frustrated and dissatisfied. I actually bought a shout out to Whataburger. I love Whataburger, but I saw a hat online and it had like sort of these orangey color, and when I got it, it was more of a cream color. It was crazy, but that probably had to do with the fact that they edited the colors maybe a little bit way too much and deviated too much from the actual product and how it should look like in real life. So pay attention to colors and pay attention how you edit those photos to make sure that you get something that's actually accurate. Now, lastly, and very, very important, is the file size and quality. A good rule of thumb is that your images should be around 200 kilobytes and they should be JPEGs. When saving these images, make sure that you need to tweak them to get a good quality image at a lower file size. We've actually used bulksizeretail.com. I'll put the link in the description as well, so you know what software you're using. It's just a website online. You just drop all your images and you get to select the option on the actual file size. So it's actually pretty good because you can also play with the quality of the JPEG. So you can say, I want it to be around 200 kilobytes and I want the quality of this image to be about 80-90%. And you actually get really good product photography from that at a lower file size, which is important because the lower file size will mean, essentially what it means is that when people and customers go to your website, these product pages will load a lot faster because the file size of these images are a lot lower. But something that you do want to check is that the quality of the image is still there. So it's a little bit of a game of compromise on the two ends. But after doing a little bit of that, you'll kind of find your sweet spot when it comes to your product photography. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, then consider purchasing our Ecom Photography Lookbook. This will actually go over some of the things that we talked about in this video. Plus, it will give you real life examples of different types of clothing photography. We'll go over shoes and accessories and all that stuff. It will help you out a lot. It will give you some ideas and things that you might want to consider. Plus, in there, you'll actually see the kit.co link for some of the equipment that we recommend as well. So if you haven't got that yet, it's in the link down below. We'll see you on the next one.